Welcome to the Teaching Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Hi, I'm Nikki, a passionate special educator, autism advocate, resource creator with over a decade of experience, and you may know me as the face behind Teaching Autism. This podcast is your go-to place for practical tips, hands-on strategies, and inspiring and funny stories to support special educators all around the world, whether it's building independence, creating engaging lessons, or finding that elusive work-life balance. I'm here to help you thrive inside and outside of the classroom. Let's dive into today's episode and make a difference together. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Teaching Autism and Special Education podcast. I'm Nikki, your host, and you may also know me as the face behind Teaching Autism. And today we are diving into a topic that I actually find really interesting, and that is the function of avoiding praise. So, have you ever said something really warm and positive and encouraging, something like, wow, that was amazing writing, and your student looks away, shrugs, says, well, it's not that good, gets silly, changes the subject, pushes the paper away, maybe even snaps back with some attitude. And you're standing there thinking, what? I was being kind. Why are they rejecting this? And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today. The function of avoiding praise. Because sometimes praise feels good and sometimes it really feels unsafe. First up, we need to gently reframe something. Praise is actually a social demand. A lot of people don't realize that. Praise isn't neutral. It is a social interaction, and praise requires a response. So when you say, well done, the student now has to process your tone, interpret what you mean, decide how to respond, how to manage their eye contact, their facial expressions. They need to regulate their body and possibly even respond. And for a lot of our autistic students, that is a lot, especially if they are already working really hard cognitively as well. So avoiding praise sometimes can be about reducing social load. And the other thing to remember is that praise can increase pressure. This one is huge because for some students, praise doesn't feel like a celebration. It feels like expectation. So they may be thinking, well, if I did it well once, now I have to do it again. If the teacher noticed, now they're watching me. If I'm good at this, I really can't mess up next time. So instead of enjoying success, the nervous system is going to shift into, oh no, now there's more pressure. And then that can actually lead to deflecting, minimizing, acting silly, refusing the next task, and even suddenly escalating. And this is not about disliking you or your praise specifically. It's just about disliking the feeling of spotlight. And the other thing to remember is that history matters. Some students will have a history that you may or may not be aware of where praise was inconsistent, exaggerated, or even linked to compliance. So, for example, praise may have only came when they were quiet, or they may have only received praise when they were masking. Praise could have always been followed by more work, and praise may have felt performative as well. So in those cases, for our students, praise can feel like, oh no, what do they want from me now? Or, oh no, this isn't safe. And this is especially for students who may have experienced sort of shame or maybe some high criticism in other environments, whether that's school-based or at home. And sometimes praise just feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar can feel unsafe. And then there's another layer. And this is the interoception and emotional awareness layer. Some students genuinely do not feel internal pride in the way that we assume they do. Interoception is the ability to notice internal body states. And if a student struggles with that, then they may not easily be able to identify things like satisfaction, pride, and achievement. So when you say, you must feel so proud, they may genuinely think, I don't know. I don't know what that feels like. And then that mismatch creates discomfort. And then we've got the shutdown. And then last up, we've got public praise can feel very overwhelming. There is a big difference between quiet and calm acknowledgement and loud, enthusiastic public celebrations. Some students experience public praise as exposure. So everyone is looking, everyone heard, and now they're perceived, and that can spike anxiety really quick, especially for our students who may be heavily masking or even fearing getting things wrong. Now, I want to be clear with this because I know that I've kind of sounded like a bit of a negative Nancy in this episode, and that's not what I want. This does not mean stop encouraging your students. I don't want you to remove that encouragement. I don't. What we need is to adjust how we deliver it. So we want encouragement to regulate, not dysregulate. So here are some things that you can try. So you can use low intensity acknowledgement. Instead of, that's amazing, you could try, you worked really hard on that. I noticed you stuck with that. That was really thoughtful. And then I want you to focus on the process, not identity. So avoid things like, you are so clever. And instead try, you tried a different strategy. Maybe consider making praise private if needed. So a quiet voice, a side comment, a sticky note on their desk, a little stamp, and offer choice in response. So you can say, you don't have to say anything back. I just wanted you to know that I noticed. All of this reduces the social demand. And then when you pair that with regulation, if they escalate after praise, build a micro reset in. Nice effort. Let's stretch. Now, some things that I want you to avoid. First up, forcing eye contact. Saying, just say thank you. Publicly insisting that they respond. Assuming rudeness. And removing praise altogether. Avoidance of praise is communication. It's not disrespect. I know as teachers, it's really hard not to take things personal. And if you have ever felt rejected when a student shrugs off your encouragement, then that's totally normal human behavior. It is going to feel personal. But I want you to remember that most of the time, it literally has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with their internal wiring and their sort of stress history. And when we adjust how we encourage, we create safety around success. And that's what we want. That's how we move forward from this. So if you've been looking at trying to work out what the function of avoiding praise is, I would say that sometimes it reduces social demand. Sometimes it reduces pressure. Sometimes it protects against anxiety. And sometimes it avoids the spotlight. So in those moments, just try to reel yourself back in. Don't take it personal. And maybe just have a think about what in this moment might feel unsafe for my student to make them act this way, and then you can start taking steps to improve that and give them the tools and skills that they need to continue to be successful, not just in school, but past school as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to my podcast episode today. I hope you were able to take away some helpful information either for this year or in the years to come and future students as well. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.